Happy Thursday, everyone. First of all, let me say hello to my guest. I know some of you all may be shocked, like she has a lot of people on tonight, just not one lady, not two ladies, but we actually have the gentlemen that have joined us tonight, and I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. This is my season finale, so I'm so excited for making it this long, this entire season. It has been awesome. So we're going to give people an opportunity to come on in. For my guest, if you haven't already done so, I hope you guys shared it to your pages. And if you're watching, please share this stream. Share it with someone. Now, this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. A great conversation. As a matter of fact, let me share this myself. So we can go to RETV. For those of you that are watching, I want to say hello. Don't be afraid. Say hi to us. Let us know that you are there. And please feel free to be engaging in the conversation. It's not just us. You guys can ask questions. We welcome you all to it all. So again, the Women's Champ Show, I am joined tonight by the gentleman. And I don't know if Mr. Unreasonable wanted me to bring him back in.
he was having some technical difficulties. He had to reboot his computer. So if he's there, I'm sure he's ready.
That's how you feel.
That's exactly how I feel. You had ample time before we went live. But I'm gonna be kind of. First of all, let me tell y'all something. One thing I believe heavy in is surrounding myself with some amazing and if somebody
Bluetooth connected.
Oh, okay. I think we handled that. But surrounding myself with some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. So what I'll do is I'll let you all introduce yourselves because that's just what I'm going to allow you all to do. So I'll let the ladies at the top go first, then the ladies at the bottom, and then the gentlemen, y'all can just fall in where y'all want. Okay. So I don't know how you guys are saying it. So between Nicole and Tanya, somebody needs to just say, hey, I'm giving everybody an opportunity to.
Hello, I am Nicole, or better known as Cody, the owner of Snow Consulting and the other half of the RETV network, where Ty is my husband.
Hello, I am Tanya, sometimes known as the nonprofit chick for all those grants that I write. Hello.
Hello, I'm Kiasha. I'm an author, life coach, and a speaker. And Latoya is my cousin that I adopted.
Hi, I am Natalie, known as Nat. I recently started my first LLC as a mobile notary. I am now branching out into real estate, so pray for me. Gonna soon open a Airbnb in Phoenix, so tell all your friends to contact me the next 6 months. And I am a lifelong friend of Cody and Toya. I've been knowing them since the 99 and 2000. We've been kicking it.
That part,
right?
Yes.
Y'all can catch Natalie in this upcoming Freaknik documentary that's coming on Hulu.
We didn't do Freaknik. We didn't do that.
I mean, Nicole said she went. Nicole went, right?
97. This is before I met you, Nat. This is before I met you.
John already got jokes, but it's okay, John. We're here for you.
I'm just recalling information that was given to me. That's all.
Said recalling.
Facts.
Oh man.
Gentlemen, any one of you go for it.
Not all at the same time now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna say I'll go. I'm as y'all can see, I'm Tyron. I am as Cody just mentioned, the other half of Relationship Entertainment Television, the founder and owner of Relationship Entertainment Television, one of the co-hosts of Millionaire Man Cave that comes on Tuesdays 8 p.m. right here on Relationship Entertainment Television. And yeah, that's me. That guy.
Yeah. My name is John, aka You know what? No AKAs. And I am the host and owner of the Daddy Confessions podcast. You can catch us on all your favorite podcast applications and on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
And on the
What's up, everybody?
Don't forget the Millionaire Man Cave.
What up, everybody? I'm Narada, the proud husband of Miss Latoya Cole.
Proud.
That's how you do that.
Well, I guess I'm last. I'm Donnell, aka Mr. Reasonable. I'm just Donnell. But I am a co-host of Millionaire Man Cave as well.
You just Donnell.
I'm just, hey,
Just
I'm
Donnell.
happy to be me.
You happy to be? We happy you. How about that? Okay, so I have everything that I have. I want to thank everybody that has stopped by with us. Let me see. We have, I can see it's Anna has said hello to us, although it says Facebook user. And hey, Bridget, for joining us. Again, if you have just tuned in, you are welcome to join this wonderful conversation with the men and the women. So the gentlemen at the bottom of the screen, you all, they have the show Millionaire Man Cave, and often they have women on. And I've been blessed to be on the show. And so I thought I would return the favor and let them come on my show and have a conversation with women. But something that they do on their show, which I think is pretty cool. Hey, Camille, that I thought we should do for them is Word to the Wise.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
You take a sip.
I know, right?
So I was like,
Wait, is he drinking out of a shoe? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, you want to talk about your shoe? Yeah, Narada's drinking out of a shoe. Hi. So, Kiasha, will tell us. Kiasha, give us Word to the Wise for men.
Uh-oh.
Y'all
Oh,
Yeah, I just snuffed that, right?
I have a plethora of them. But I think that one that's very important is, and this is kind of on a serious note, your giving money doesn't make you a provider. Just because you're strong doesn't make you a protector. A woman that is sexually fed does not mean that she's emotionally and psychologically fed. So that's a word to the wise for the men out there.
Okay.
Great job,
Good
Kiasha.
ones.
Good one.
Them some good ones.
Good one.
What,
See, I didn't heard. I mean, those are things that you all knew already, right?
Yeah. You
Of
know,
course.
so, yeah, we knew.
Yeah, that don't bother me none. It all makes sense to me.
So let me tell you why. Because all the 4 guys on this show are married. So, we make sure that our women are not only spiritually fed, we make sure that we give it to them in the bedroom. And just because we give them in the bedroom, I mean, they always said, we know. It's those that ain't married that's out there running, playing games, running the streets that don't know. So that's why we ain't say nothing.
So, yeah, that was my point. My point was, I mean, I pretty much, I'm familiar enough with you guys to know, but our goal is to reach everyone else as well. So I wanted to make sure I touch base with the people that think that they know, but don't necessarily have a clue.
Well, all you bum dudes out there that don't know, now you know.
It's the word to the wise, man. It's word to the
That's
wise.
right.
Word to the wise.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
And I
maybe
don't
word from the
necessarily
Lord.
think that makes them a bum. I think that they are just unaware.
Yeah.
They might
That's
be
true,
bums.
too.
They might be bums too, though. They might be.
I'm gonna
bums.
say it's.
I
some
mean,
bums
yeah,
out there.
they might have 2 jobs, but I'm just saying sometimes contingent upon who you're with, you do what you know. And so if they've never met a woman that requires that, that'll never be something that they necessarily do. So you do what you know sometimes.
Can I ask a question?
You just did.
Sure.
Can I ask several questions? I got a couple.
Sure.
Okay, so the big question here. Thank you for correcting me with Tanya. I appreciate that. The big question here is I like your use of the word require. Why the word required?
Why? Do
Why did I use the word requirement?
Yeah.
Because to me, a requirement is something that's specific to the person. You know what I mean? So like I can say I want a size 9 shoe. I need a size 9 shoe, but I need to require it because that's the size that I fit. You know what I mean? So it all depends on everybody's connotation and definition is going to be different. But for me, requirement means almost like your own specific need, you know, and that varies from person to person. And that's why I said what I said earlier, because you know, what one woman says that she needs or requires is not necessarily what another woman needs or requires.
Good point.
That is a good point. Let me ask you all this. Have you, the gentlemen, I'm asking you all this, and the ladies as well, have you all gone into relationships assuming that the person that you're with now basically is like you're treating them how you treated the other person? Like you're going in with the assumption that this is just what a lady wants because you've carried over whatever was normal in that relationship to this one. And I think that's somehow how men and women can miss each other. I think this is going to go into my question that I have towards the panel, but anybody can jump in with that.
I don't do that. I did not do that back when I was dating, and there's reasons for that, right? Because the reason I didn't do that is because there's a reason why I left those relationships. And so anything that woman brought to that relationship that I didn't like, I wasn't going to bring that to the next relationship and assume something about the person I was with next, right? So I didn't want to bring that kind of baggage into my next relationship. Like, oh, well, you know, so-and-so like this, so you must like this too. So like, that's not how it worked for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody is different. So you really can't go into, like, you know, just to piggyback what John just said, you know, you can't go in with the same mind frame. It was like, all right, well, I'm gonna do the same things. I mean, but sometimes subconsciously, like, you know, some things do happen where it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah. To a certain degree, though, I think you do have like some basic standard things that you carry from one relationship to another. Like, I'm going to treat her with respect. I'm going to make sure that I do, like, you know, for instance, when I got, you know, when Cody and I hooked up and got married or whatnot, you know, I was like, yo, there are certain things that I'm going to do for her that I may have done in my previous relationships that they may not have, they may not have necessarily cared for, or they might not necessarily have appreciated, but that doesn't mean that Cody should necessarily suffer. And I'm not going to do it for Cody just because, you know, my ex didn't necessarily appreciate what I was doing for her. But so there are some standard things, yes, that I will say I have taken from relationship to relationship. But overall, to John's point, yeah, I'm not going to treat, you know, this person the same way I treated this person, because you never know, you know, if they like certain things, if they don't like certain things. But overall, yes, the respect situation, you know, just, you know, making sure I date, you know, my spouse, you know, those things I do, you know, I do want to take on her, you know, from one relationship to another, not just drop it because I'm with somebody new.
Did you ask for a list of her requirements?
I did not ask for that book, John. I did not ask for that book.
No, but I did give him my list of non-negotiables.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gave her my list of mine.
That's seriously. You wasn't playing no games.
No.
But to piggyback off that too, coming out of other relationships, I did take lessons learned from those and adopt them to the next relationship. The number one thing was I didn't want to be a nag. So I cut that real short, going from, you know, relationship to relationship, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's important though. You know, learning lessons from your previous, because that will help you, like, you know, with your current situation.
Definitely. And I know for me, I've had times where I've had to catch myself because I'll find myself going into that old pattern. And I'm like, oh, this is not the same person. So, you know, you have to catch yourself a lot of times and then be intentional going forward. So that's been a big thing for me.
I'm gonna say that too. I find myself doing that, and it's the things, the tender things that you say, ooh, but that's not him. That was from before. Yeah. That hurt, but he didn't do that. You know, the emotional damage or the emotional neglect that you suffer before, you can't help but to bring. So when that person does something I forget, I don't know the word I'm looking for, it's going to automatically sting until you realize that's not the same person.
But
It's
Natalie, should you even get into a relationship until you figure that out?
But you know, I think, and that's a good point, I agree, but I think you may not know, you may think, or you've done the work to be healed, but when that person said something, you still may say,
it's a trigger.
It's a trigger, and you hope that the person that you're with, you can tell them and be honest, like, you know, that hurt because of this. Could you not do that or say that? Or that can lead to a great conversation. Like, I didn't mean it like that at all.
That comes with, but that comes with good communication and knowing thyself. And I think this is where I think that we mess up as men and women. I don't care how much work you do. There are some things that you just don't know are going to come out of you until you are in a relationship. And I think what's important for us to know is to not, I believe some people have forsaken really great relationships because they didn't give the person a chance to show up. They jump ship quickly. And if you can't, for me, I'll tell you all this, and I'm not just saying it because my husband is on here, but a statement that I told a really good friend, I said, this is the person I want to struggle with. It has nothing to do with finances.
I'm not doing that.
It's that inner struggle.
Yeah.
And too many people are trying to be distracted because we're not dealing with the inner struggle. And there's some things, honestly, you all, I can say this with my husband being on here. There were some things I didn't know would still bother me. And for me, my mate became a mirror, but it was a good mirror. And you want a mate that's going to be your mirror, but y'all handle it in a healthy way.
Right. You need somebody, you yourself need to be mature enough to be able to handle that mirror reflection. Because if you're not mature enough to handle that mirror reflection, the first thing you're going to do is blame it on him or blame it on her. And they like, wait, what did I do? I ain't even know. Yet you reflecting on something that old boy did before, old girl did before, and you know, your mate's like, whoa, what the hell did I do?
Yeah, that's true.
And guess what? And it happens. That's the truth of the matter. And, you know, it happens. But we have to give, I think, I'm going to tell you something. Y'all have heard me say this time and time again. Grace is really important. You have to offer that for yourself and your mate. Because again, you are, maybe we're not aware of it, like you mentioned earlier, Narada. We can go into a relationship thinking something is cool because we were able to be that or do that with the previous person, and the person that's with you now is like, absolutely not. That's going to be a real hard no for me, because my response would be, she was a good one, but not me.
Exactly.
Ooh, I'm sad now. She's a winner. You probably should have kept her.
You should have kept her. That's what
I want to call her back.
See what she doing.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be like, really? I need to call her back. I'm on it. I'm on it.
You need to
don't do that, John. You get cut real quick.
I'm just saying.
It's a telephone, man.
Man. So listen, let me ask, did anybody else have any input in regards to that before I ask my question?
I just wanted to piggyback off something that Ty said when he said that if they don't heal, they'll blame it on the other person. And then just basically take that baggage elsewhere. And that's true, because what happens is you bleed everywhere you go. And then so you have a whole series of thinking that it's their fault. And then they'll take that into their next relationship. So I just wanted to say I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, my biggest thing is if you can't be mature enough to look in the mirror and look at yourself, because ain't none of us perfect. The last time I checked, ain't none of us named with Jesus Christ. So, you know, ain't none of us perfect. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I got flaws that I need to correct, or I need to fix, or I need to adjust, based on even who you are with, because that can change from person to person, I think as Toya said earlier. So, yeah, we just need to be able to be mature enough to be able to do that.
But what if you don't know that it's a flaw?
Well, it's up to the other person, or like, you know, what Toy said, communication.
Right. So I think that's also a very important piece, is that you be willing to have the conversation with your spouse about what is wrong. Because sometimes people will just let it fester. Right. They won't even say nothing about it. They just, you know, until it's too late. And we live in a culture where everything is, we want it fast, which is why there are so many divorces, which is why relationships don't last, is because we feel like it's easier to break up than to do what you said, Toya, like be in it for the long haul, work through it, like, you know, be that shoulder to lean on for that other person. It's easier to just be like, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
We're a very lazy society, and it has transcended into almost every area of our lives. We don't want to work for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's going to be work. I heard somebody say like, but it shouldn't be work if you're with the right person. Yes, it should.
Yes, it should.
I actually heard somebody say that. I said, it's still work, because my thing is, you a work in progress by yourself, with or without a mate.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything worth having is worth working for.
Right. And the easiest part of a relationship is getting into it. Staying in it is the hard part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But here's the thing: when you say staying in it, yeah, that's it, because that's when the real work comes into play. Because again, you all have heard me say this before. My aunt told me this: when you get into a relationship, especially a marriage, there should not be any surprises. It should be a discovery. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Please don't tell me, oh, you know what, by the way, I might become and I'm just saying this because it's just all too common. Somebody might be carrying my child. Or by the way, like that, don't give me that kind of surprise. A discovery is maybe I didn't know I was healed. I thought I was healed. I thought I was okay with something until a certain situation arose. And now you're seeing me react and respond. Really, I might be going back to whatever point in my life that happened, and I didn't speak up at that time. So it's going to come out more forceful to you.
By the way, babe, I'm joking.
I mean, what if what if you might discover that this person is a serial killer?
Wait, was Ty about to tell Cody something? I turned my mute off. I wanted to make
That wasn't me. That was Narada. That wasn't me. That was that dude right there.
Look, I went off mute. I went forward.
No. See, that's one thing I love about Natalie. Ladies, get you some good friends, because Natalie is all the way in another.
I was like, wait, what we about to do?
She was like,
Natalie is about that drama.
She said, hold up.
You like, on TV, we about to go?
It'll be another porch scene. It'll be another front porch scene, right?
99 in the 2000.
We can do all the songs if you want. We can do them all.
No.
I don't know what we're gonna go through tonight, but I do want to stop and pause and tell everyone thank you for tuning in. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to Relationship Entertainment Television. We are on here tonight because of the gentleman that's down there in the box. I feel like we the Brady Bunch, y'all. Down there with the name Ty. He's able to be on here, okay? And I'm so did you see the Will Sam just gave me?
My mother-in-law is warning you, Narada.
Yeah,
I know. I saw that.
That's a word to the wise. I should have bought a bill for tonight.
It was a joke.
It was a joke. Okay. Thank you, Narada, for clearing that up.
But real quick, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, if you're watching, if you all have a question, you get the male and female perspective tonight. So I have a question for the panel. And this is a discussion that my husband and I have had, but he didn't know I was going to ask this tonight.
Uh-oh.
So, surprise.
So
Hey, Narada.
And I mean it.
Sex, that's what you said.
What'd he say? Why it seem like the lay person always want to make all of the comments?
I didn't make a comment. I just never mind.
Donnell, you just make sure you stay with us until the show is over.
That's how y'all feel.
That's. I told you I was gonna get y'all.
Oh man!
What a beautiful night already. So when it comes to, and I know Ty and John probably can talk a bit about this, but when it comes to a relationship, and Natalie and Kiasha and even Tanya now can give this perspective from a single person, and Nicole, I want you to give it from the perspective of a person that's married. And Tanya's been married before as well, so she can respond to that. But when it comes to male and female, when you're married, what do you all think about the best friend of the opposite sex? Hanging out solely with your mate.
Yeah, I'm pulling down there on this.
I understand the question. You're saying, is it okay for your husband to have a woman best friend, and is it okay for your wife to have a man best friend?
And them just hang out by themselves. It's two-part.
I mean, so I can address it from this. I can address it from this point. My bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
So for those who don't know, John over there, that guy over there, Mr. PC as we call him on our show, his wife and I actually were best friends in college, and and to a certain degree, she's still my best friend. She's not my number one best friend anymore, but and that's no fault of her own. But his wife was my. What happened?
You sound robotic.
Yeah.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Let me come off this.
Auto tunes in.
Yeah, I sound like I was doing my T-Pain, my best T-Pain impression.
Say I want to buy you a drink.
Okay, is that better?
That's way better.
That's way better. Okay, so John, that guy over there, as I was just mentioning a second ago, his wife and I, we actually met in college, and we actually became best friends. And so through my first marriage, as well as through my second marriage, she was my best friend. But I'm a believer that your spouse or your significant other should be your best friend. So when I got married, she did have to bump down in the totem pole, because my spouse is my best friend, and my spouse is the one. And if you know me and my wife, I'm pretty much attached to her hip to the point where she gets tired of me being around all the time. So. I feel like your spouse should be your best friend, but as far as having somebody else as your, his wife, Wabette, we still very cool. I'm their kids' godparents. She's my, my son, oldest biological son's godmother, all that good stuff, this, that, and the third. I just think that it becomes messy when people are not respectful of the new husband or the new wife, and they feel like that they can, because I was here first, or I was, this, that, and the third, that you gotta accept me and you gotta respect me, and you can come and go because I was here, type thing. I think that's where the I think that's where the confusion or issues coming in with people having relationships or friends of the opposite sex and going out and hanging out or whatever the case may be. But if you have somebody who can respect that, like I respected John when John came in the picture, and his wife respected, my wife when, she came in the picture. So.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think that it is, it's a very tough situation to walk into when you have you're starting a relationship, young in a relationship, even old in a relationship with somebody who has other people who they are really close to, and they prefer to share with that person things that they should be able to share with you. Now, who's at fault on that one? I mean, on some level, I guess, you don't have to get into that relationship with that person, right? If you see that it's going down that road, if you see that they are really close to somebody, and that does not seem to be something that they're willing to let go of, then that's worth exploring prior to really getting deep into the relationship, right? And I'm not saying they have to let go of the person, but understanding that that person can't be their main source of, entertainment and excitement, and that person shouldn't be the only person that they're talking to most of the time. They on the phone with them when they on their way home, on the way to work, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's always problematic, I believe. But I also believe that, everybody's got their own kind of situation. For some people, hey, you know what? They find with their friends, their spouse having a friend that they don't have to be the one that has to deal with everything. Should that person be of the opposite sex? I mean, probably not. I think that's probably down the line, that's going to be problematic. But I never worried about Ty. you know, I knew that they were friends. I knew he was in a relationship at the time, so that was never something that I was concerned about. You know what I'm saying? So.
But you and Ty are buddies. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, we are not. We are not. I do not even like Ty, actually.
Because y'all do a show every week. I want to hear from one of the ladies real quick. Tanya,
that's how you feel?
Here's my thing. I'm okay with my spouse. Well, no longer have one, but I was okay with my spouse having a friend of the opposite sex. I had some friends of the opposite sex, but there are factors, you know, so little things like, have you ever been intimate with that person? That's important to know, because if you have, that's a no for me. Then also, you should be able to mingle, you know, everybody should be able to mingle for me. If it's just like a one-sided thing and I'm your wife or that's my husband and, you know, he can't come around my guy friend, or I can't go around his girlfriend, or feels uncomfortable even when I'm around them, then for me, we need to have a conversation. We need to explore some things, because especially if you're a secure person, like why am I sensing something? Why am I feeling something from this person? So it's a lot of different factors involved.
Tanya, can you define mingle for me, please?
Where everyone can hang out together, where it's not just this is my friend of the opposite sex, we do our thing, you stay at home, or you know, like everybody should be able to hang out, and it should flow. It should feel right. It shouldn't feel funny when you do.
Gotcha. That's what I was gonna say too. I know y'all men don't understand women intuition. However, we're gonna be able to feel if it's not right. Like she said, it should flow. It should be cool. We should all hang. She want to come over, cool. She come over, we all go. Me and her should be able to be friends. If I can't call her or go hang out with her without you, or vice versa, if she can't form a bond with me, then there's probably an issue.
Can I say
something? Can I say something right quick? Go ahead, John.
John, can you say something about women on the Women's Champ Show?
I'm going to say something about women's intuition.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. That's the part I wanted to address. Go ahead.
I think it's broken. I think it's broken. Okay, and I'm going to say this is why I think it's broken. Is because you can be, not all women, but women can be around men and not know that man is only there to sleep with them. and the fact that can happen blows my mind, because if your women's intuition is working so well, you should know that dude ain't there just to hear your story about what happened.
Well, there's a reason why it's called woman's intuition, because you need the energy of another woman.
John, did you
see? And that's what I was going to say. That men have, I guess if you want to call it women's intuition, men got intuition too. And we can tell when a dude is there to either quote unquote be your friend, or he got other motives. He got other intentions. And a lot of times y'all go, oh, he's just this, he's just that. We like, nah, dude, I seen when you turned your back, I seen the way he was looking at you. When you say something, I can tell the intonation in his voice didn't change when all of a sudden, you didn't say it. I'm like, trust me, a dude knows a dude. It's like a woman knows a woman, a dude knows a dude. A dude knows a dude.
But like Toya said, if he's my best friend, he's been around for a while.
Hey, we played a long game. Natalie. We played a long game. I'm telling you. I'll be your best friend. I'll be your gay friend. I'll be whatever it is in order to get them draws at the end of the day.
Some women do the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Some women do the same
thing.
Yeah,
some women play on game. I know women personally who went from the best friend to the side piece to the wife. Some women play the long game as well, because that's just what it is. But I do agree with you, though. I do, and I love what you said, Cody, when you said women's intuition is women's intuition, because we pick up on other women's energy. That is really a good way to look at that.
Very true.
It's true.
And I don't think Cody was able to finish her point because John and Ty got so excited.
No, that was a statement.
You're good.
That was a full statement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know how to conduct ourselves. We know how to conduct ourselves.
Mr. Reasonable.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
Okay. So I pretty much agree with everybody. I mean, I think I'm more agreeing with Natalie. Like if we not hanging out, like if you know what I'm saying, like if you had your friends before me and we not hanging out, but yet you can do everything behind my back, we not rocking. I'm not good with it. So, you know, I just say, you know what I'm saying, men ain't stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm not boo-boo the fool. You know what I'm saying?
So instead of just my friend, it's now our friend.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have a question to piggyback off that question. So if this been your best friend and y'all doing this, but you meet the woman that's gonna be your boo, your main boo, y'all going marriage. If she say give her up, are you giving her up? Your best friend?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, I guess that maybe there's a reason why we just friends and not together. You know what I mean? I'm not saying just she just walk in and say give her up. But if she has grounds, she did this, and she has, I'm not saying an emotional, just give her up. I mean, my thing is if it was to that extreme, then you know, why we not together?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, like men, at the end of the day, like we want happiness,
right?
And,
I think we leaving a factor out.
That's
though,
true.
Mr. Reasonable, and that factor we leaving out is that we ain't even talking about the people who identify as the, you know what I'm saying, that you got the gay friend. You know, I look, I'm gonna say this. I feel like the gay friend, the gay male friend for a woman ain't there's most toxic person in your relationship.
What?
Yes.
No.
Expand upon that. Expand. Let them know, John. Let them expand upon that, John.
It is. And this is. I can't say I
have
not met everybody.
Hey
gay
man,
friend for a woman.
They got too much daggone mouth. They want to get punched in the face.
and when it's and if they not in a relationship, just like if they were the same sex, but they are more so likely to sabotage your relationship. Because what I have seen, and I ain't seen it all, but what I have seen is that a lot of what women are looking for in a relationship is somebody who they can communicate with, right? And that person, usually that gay man, very good at communicating. That's a fantastic job of it.
So right? It's his fault that the man can't communicate?
It is.
Right.
It is. Right. Because what happens is that gay man don't want to see you with nobody else. He want to be that.
That's always true.
But I'll say even if it's not necessarily that gay person's fault. However, because in most cases the female's like, yo, I know I can go to him and talk to him about this, that, and the third. He's gonna give me his opinion. You're not going to your spouse because you've already got somebody to fulfill that role for you. Right. So when your spouse who should now play that role, you're like, nah, I'm not letting my, Ramon go or whoever go because I know I can talk to him.
But don't you think, Paul? That's the spouse's. That's not the friend's fault. Right. The friend can only do what they can do. So that's the spouse's fault for not. Because I do totally agree with him. Nobody should be able to infiltrate the communication lines in your relationship. So I agree with them because to a certain extent, there are people who let it happen, and that's their fault. That's not the friend's fault. You know what I mean? Because they should say, hey, you know what? Like you said, if they say, oh, you shouldn't be with that person or whatever, you got bound. That's not you out of your line. That's not right. We should discuss. You know what I mean? So I think I agree with him though. But I think that it's not the friend's fault. It's the spouse, significant other. I'm sorry.
That gay man can't identify with a woman. What happened to women's intuition? Like
we still got women.
No, but I don't want us to go down that road because the thing is, it was about it being the opposite sex.
They're still the opposite sex.
That's still opposite sex.
It's still opposite
sex. It's still opposite sex.
No, I'm saying your friend, the opposite sex. But the thing is, like Natalie said, the question is, like somebody just put, and I think this was Tina, we all friends or we all not friends. Are you going to let that friendship go if your mate is saying this is making me uncomfortable, especially when it's one-sided? Mm-hmm. Like they just said, if you can't, like Tanya said it, if I can't go out with your female friend like that, as a woman, wrong. I'm just telling you, I mean, something's not right. And I don't think, for me, I'm telling y'all my opinion. I don't think it's cool for a woman to be kicking it with my husband. I don't think so. Everybody else, and I'm a very secure woman.
Is it okay for your man to kick it with your gay best friend?
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
Regardless, you may not have one. Somebody does.
Somebody does. Right?
I have a gay best friend, a really close friend, and I don't think the guy they're not gonna go to the mall together. They're not gonna go, but
they ain't gonna go shoe shopping together.
But my gay friend has come
out
and we can hang out, or he will be like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, there's nothing wrong. He's not gonna go scoop him up and go to the mall. No. He acknowledged him as my friend. He acknowledges that's my friend. That's my, you know. But no, they not finna. He not finna be like, "Hey, I'm about to go over to dude's house." No.
You sure? Are you sure?
Positive.
And now you see why it doesn't say Mr. PC tonight. By the way.
Yo, y'all crazy.
Already.
Oh man.
When you ask for Millionaire Man Cave to come on the women's champion, that's what you're gonna get.
I'm sure we're gonna go over tonight, right?
I think we are. Somebody just wrote, "Gay or not, is still boundaries," and I believe that wholeheartedly. And but it goes back to the point of communication, because where I believe that we miss each other, and I put that as part of the title of the show. It could all be so simple. It really could. We really make relationships and communication with men and women far more challenging. And this is my challenge to you, like you men, like I've heard you guys say on your show that when y'all get together, it's like y'all want to have fun because it gives y'all that escape from like y'all realities. But my concern as a woman is that if my mate is only going out and just kicking it with his friends, like when you guys are just kicking it with each other, when are y'all really having some conversations about what you're dealing with?
So Toya, we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation with you, and then we've had this conversation amongst us fellas as well. Yes, for the most part, and we say this each and every Tuesday on Millionaire Man Cave. When we get together, we want to kick it. We want to have fun. However, we do hold we have a group chat. We do hold each other accountable. So if I were to see, and I'm using and just so nobody beats nobody up on this panel, nobody's wife, but I'm gonna use Narada as an example. But if I go out and I see Narada doing something, let's say the four of us go out and I see Narada over there kicking it with something, guess what? Yes, I'm gonna pull Narada aside and be like, "Yo, you shouldn't X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third." But at the same time, Narada is a grown-ass man who I cannot control. But I am going to pull him aside and be like, "Yo, that ain't cool." And then whatever Narada does with that after that is on Narada, because I don't want to be involved. And a lot of times, a lot of men, we silo each other off. And we section each other off. There are certain groups we know we can hang with to do certain things, and there are certain groups we can hang with to do other things. So I know in most cases, if we're going like the four of us, when we go on our men's trip we do every year, I know that I can go on a men's trip with these dudes, and these dudes gonna be cool. They're not gonna put me in no compromising positions, and they're not gonna put themselves in no compromising positions, because I damn sure don't want. Like I said, John's wife is a very good friend of mine. I don't want her coming to me and be like, "Yo, so what was my husband doing when y'all was in Vegas?" Or I don't want Toya coming to me be like, "Yo, what was Narada doing when y'all was in Cali?" No, because I know that I can go somewhere with John, Narada, and Mr. Reasonable and Donnell over there, and they're not going to do nothing that's going to jeopardize themselves or myself when it comes to any relationships. So we can put people in certain categories for that reason.
Okay, but do you guys? I'm asking you do you all really, with your friends, when I say hold each other accountable, or do y'all try to soften the blow when you know that your man's is out of order?
Oh no, that's the thing about guys. We're gonna be up front and straight.
Right, but I think sometimes it's the same way that women, and this is my opinion. This is John's opinion only, right? Mm-hmm. You see, you know, maybe a woman wearing something, you like, girl, I can't pull that off, but it look good on you or whatever. Like, let's be honest. Sometimes that's lies, right? Sometimes the reality of that is it don't look good, but go ahead, do you? You know what I'm saying? For us, it's like,
you like it, I love it.
For us, it's like for men, it's like, yo, you tripping, yo. I can't do that, but do you, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same kind of thing. Like we have moments where we will, in fact, be like, yo, you can't do that. But at the same time, sometimes it's just like, yo, you doing the most, son. You on another level. Mm-hmm. Do you?
And different friends like have like different, like, you know, you could break it down to different friends differently for them to get it. Like, not everybody's the same. So with one friend, I'll be like, yo, soften the blow a little bit. One friend, I'm like, yo, you bugging, like what y'all just said. Like, you know, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? It's all different, really.
Yeah, it's different. You talk to, I mean, like John and both Narada said, the same way y'all talk to y'all's girls differently, the same way we do the same thing with guys. You know, he's certain guys we hang out with for certain things, certain guys we hang out with other things. We know I can't do certain things with these guys because that ain't, y'all say birds of a feather flock together. I don't want to be involved with that over there. So I'm gonna hang with y'all in this case. But other than that, you a grown dude, do what you do. I know that's your lifestyle. I don't want to be involved. So I'm gonna kick it over here with these dudes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, fair enough. I just think that it's crucial for us to be able to have these safe spaces to communicate with the other. Because again, I think part of the problem is like the women, like we have like this bond. Okay, so it's like I can go and talk to, I have women that I can really confide in, which is totally a blessing. And I'm not confiding in them to bash my mate. And again, this comes with a certain level of maturity. And some people just, when they talk about level up, we have to level up because we all know we taking a break from the foolishness right now by having some fun conversations. But it's a lot going on in the world. But the mindset of our generation need to definitely change, because what's being shown to the generations like behind us, it's unbelievable. And let me tell you something. I took my glasses off.
Take the glasses off.
Take the glasses off.
We're messing people up because we're not being honest.
Right. I agree.
We're not being honest. And I think that that's what messes a lot of people up in relationships. Man, if you want to be here, be here. If you don't, I may cry. I might help you pack your stuff. But tell me that. Don't drag me along like I'm the one, but you still mess with her. And I know y'all married, but y'all Negroes haven't been married your entire lives. So I know y'all are still quite in touch with y'all previous selves. Because Mr. Unreasonable, I know your butt definitely want to see.
She done called you out specifically, sir.
Oh, she did call you out.
Making sure Donnell is still here.
But wait a minute.
Can I say something though? And I think I'm gonna say something anyway. I know I can. I'm gonna say it anyway. That I think that one of the things that is that we all have to realize is that we are women and men, emotional beings. It's not okay in most circles for men to be emotional beings. Okay, it's not okay for men to have a tough time when an event arises. It's not okay for a man to cry. You just said that you might cry about it. It's not okay for a man to cry in most circles, most situations. And what we have to understand as people is that if we want relationships to work, then we have to be willing to do what I believe two major things. One, we have to be okay with being vulnerable on both sides. And two, we have to be okay with supporting the other person in their vulnerability. And oftentimes that is not the case if a man shows vulnerability. And I'm only saying that because I'm only a man. And what I have seen and what I have learned over the years is that a man's vulnerability is weakness. And so what I say that with the understanding that we want relationships to work. We want people to be in it for the right reasons, being in it for the long haul. We want people to understand and work through those moments that are hard. But it's hard for a man to express when the moments are hard. Because we're supposed to be strong. Because you might be with a woman that has a requirement that you be strong.
But here's my thing. To me, that's a different level of strength when you can be vulnerable. Because the thing that y'all have to understand about
it all depends. It depends on the woman. But I agree with him because guess what? If that man has been introduced or been in a relationship with a woman that made him feel like his vulnerability is a weakness, who's to say he won't just automatically shut that down and never show that to anybody else or feel like he can't because it was perceived as a weakness. So I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
And that's the part that kills me because so many, and I'm not going to cut you off, Toya, but a lot of women, y'all, because I have the feeling that you're going to say, well, we do this, but there are a lot of women who don't. So when we do show that vulnerability, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you weak, you ain't strong, I mean, you ain't masculine, you ain't this, you ain't that. So while you, Toya, you, Cody, you, Tanya, you, Natalie, you, Keisha, may say this, there are a lot of women that we may have been involved with that it may not be on that level of maturity, that may not have that level of comfortability with themselves, that have, said, yo, you can't be this. Or even if you are, I'm gonna make fun of you because you are. And now make you feel less than because you are. So to put a lot of men in a box and say, men, don't do this, don't do that to us. Because that's don't do that to us. And y'all take responsibility for other women, what women do as well.
Right. And it goes back to what I say. Everybody's different. And just to go back to what Toya said, where you man wasn't all married before, and they got a woman that do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
agree.
Like, it's just people in general. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all different. We're all the same. But like, there's some women that go out and do what they do and go back home to their husbands and all that. There's plenty of them. Not saying all, but then there's plenty of men that do that. So it's like what Ty said, just to put us in a box, like. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not in a box. What I'm saying, here's what I'm saying to that. Like, and to go back to what John said, and I think Cody wants to say something. John, I hear what you're saying, but the problem with that lies with, and we said this earlier in the show, you come into the relationship, you may think that you were over that when that chick might have called you a punk or another phrase because you show vulnerability. So now the woman that you're with now, she might be doing the same thing, and then it's a trigger for you. What tends to happen with y'all could have got y'all doggone feelings hurt in the 3rd grade by a girl that shut you down, and y'all think that all women gonna shut you down from here. No, don't try to give me that look, because some of y'all, some of you all do that, and so then y'all start moving a certain way, and you start hiding. You aren't at 100%. We, on the other hand, would have dealt with like this doggone box. I could have started here. Cody didn't hurt me. Now I'm over in the box tying. These are represented relationships. I'm trying to go into that thing, giving this person an opportunity. And when you don't fully be there, you don't give a person to really show who they are. And you aren't really there because you're too busy playing dodgeball with your heart.
So again, Toya, the same way these boxes just work, the same way these boxes just work. Men, not all women do that, and not all women do that.
And then it goes back to my point.
Not all men do that, not all women do that.
It's definitely a man and a woman thing.
So from a woman's perspective, if your feelings get hurt, how do women tend to move, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, is it, do you communicate that, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Mr. Rick,
I think that plays.
If the role was reversed.
Go ahead.
It tell men they're not gonna have sex on the first year of
women don't like to feel shut down either.
Wait, what did he say?
Hold on, John, we couldn't hear the rest of what Donnell.
Yeah, repeat that.
Sorry, Donnell. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm saying if the role was reversed, how do women move in that space?
It depends on the woman.
Just like it depends Depends on the man.
You mean if our feelings are hurt, how do we communicate that our feelings are hurt?
Yes.
Oh, come here, let me talk to you. You hurt my feelings when you said this and that. Remember 2 days ago we were standing at the ice maker and you said this and you looked over like that.
2 days, don't do
2 days ago. She had to come.
I had to process it because I usually take time to make sure I'm not, because if I'm still thinking about it when I woke up and throughout my work day, my feelings are hurt. I'm not going to
remember what happened.
Unless I'm already in the mood to say, "Oh, that hurt my feelings." But if it hurt my feelings, I need to wait.
We don't remember. We don't remember,
My
Natalie.
feelings are my tripping because I can trip because I can be tripping.
We don't remember,
Natalie. If it still
Natalie.
hurts the next day, I'm gonna say, "Hey, can we talk for a second?"
You see, but hold on, but you see how y'all giggling. I see how Ty and the Rod are kikiing when he say we don't remember 2 days. This is why y'all have a problem.
Don't worry,
But it's
I'm
true.
gonna tell you what you had on, the tone you said it.
If we let things go that far out, I'm not gonna remember it.
You are, because I'm gonna break it down.
Yo, and the way you break it down, honestly, my wife included, the way that you break it down is like, yo, I don't remember none of that. That is not the way I remember that event. Like that event.
Curtis said it. Curtis just said it. 2 days ago at the ice maker is crazy.
That's crazy.
Like, yo, 2 days ago.
I agree with that.
Well, okay.
I think that whatever hurts your feelings.
No, but that's what you meant.
Wait,
that's what you meant. 2 days ago.
No. Hold on once.
So instead of a man shutting down, how soon should a man address his feelings?
Right then and there. That's what I was gonna say. I think that 2 days is every woman is different, but I don't wait 2 days to think because I'm not gonna remember either. So let me just say that. And I maybe it all depends on her, but I've learned, let me say this, I used to hold on to stuff, but I've to communicate in the moment if possible. You can't always communicate in the moment, but if possible, communicate in the moment, because you can't ask someone or your spouse or your whoever to be what you're not. And so if your communication is limited or you suppress, then how can you get angry when, they don't express themselves? So that's just me. And like you ladies said, it depends on the woman, but I've just learned, because I used to be the woman that didn't say a word, and that doesn't benefit you long term. That's called high blood pressure. So I learned how to just say how I felt, and then they deal with it. You deal with it accordingly, but at least your truth is out.
Tanya, did you have something to say? It looked like
I was going to say the same thing. I deal with it right away, because I found that either if I let it sit, I'm going to forget, or it just won't hold that importance, and then it gives room for it to happen again. Y'all, it's a bee flying around.
I thought I was tripping. I'm like,
I'm trying to keep my cool. I'm trying to keep
it's gonna land in your hair.
I got my crock right here, ready to But yeah, so for me, I'm just like, let me go ahead and address this. Let's talk about it. And if they need a minute, after I say what I need to say, I respectfully give them their space to have a minute, because they may need to process it for a minute, but let me go ahead and get mine out.
I know in our marriage, there's kind of this 48-hour window, right? If there's something really pressing and Ty, I got to give it to him. He's the type that likes to deal with it immediately. I'm the type, I need a day to process, to get my thoughts together. That's why the 48-hour rule came into being, because it worked for me. Getting better at, trying to handle things immediately. But one, to Natalie's earlier point, I don't want to seem like I need to assess, okay, Nicole, is this really worth opening up that door, or is this something that's just trivial that you just need to get over and deal with it?
And that's the thing, and even guys, and so a lot of guys deal with, like I think John or Donnell said earlier, men want peace. So in a lot of cases, same thing with us. A lot of times we won't bring up something that we find trivial. Y'all might be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" Or we can tell you had an attitude, or you left the house because you went to go be with your boys because you didn't want to do because of whatever happened at the ice maker, whatever. But we ain't thinking about it. We like, yo, that was trivial. There's a lot more things that we could bring up about X, Y, and Z, and we just choose not to. So let us just go ahead and just give us some. We gonna have makeup sex in this and be happy with it. Outside of that, if it's something big enough, we'll bring it up right then and there. We'll bring it up right then and there.
But big to one could be little to could be big.
If it's us, but if you're telling it, but if it's us, and the problem is if it's something that we find an issue with, then it's for us to own. So it's for us to say whether it's little or not.
Yeah.
So is it just that simple with a lot of men? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead, not deal with it. It's not that trivial. Let's have makeup sex, and we're good.
Yeah.
Some guys are very simple. You will completely overthink things.
It could all be so simple.
It could all be so simple. Exactly.
That's what Lauryn Hill said, right?
But that's why I put that song in there. But it could all be so simple with us if y'all will truly listen. Like, believe it or not, Ty, we like peace as well. We don't like the game.
We do.
We really
know. Oh, trust me, we know. And you don't understand the strength that it takes for a man to try to give y'all peace.
Wait, the key word that Toya said is listen. Are you listening?
Okay. This is what I'm gonna say about the listening.
Wait, who's this Facebook user?
Curtis.
I love it.
Curtis is crazy.
Makeup sex makes everything okay. But this is what I tell you about the listening piece, right? There are versions of listening, and the question is, somebody left, huh? The question is what you consider listening, and what we consider listening.
Well, I think we're gonna know if you're me. I'm gonna speak for me. I'm gonna know if you're listening by your response. Are you hearing or are you listening?
I could be listening, but what I'm listening to is something that is different than what you are actually you think you saying out your mouth.
No, because that's why I went and waited a minute to articulate to you.
It still don't come out the same.
If I took my time and I'm like,
I like that one,
and I'm driving home and I'm like, yeah, when I get home, I want to address this because I've already thought of my words. I know my mate. I can tell you pretty much his reaction, so I have to use the right words. But then when he responds, I could be like, you wasn't listening.
But wait, Natalie, are you saying that he's not responding the right way? Or is he not responding the way that you expected him to respond in your mind, based on the way that
she is required?
Exactly. because
I got a question like this.
Because I do the same. Because this is the same thing with my wife, right? It's like she will not say something to me. I love my wife.
You better.
But she will say something, or she will not say something because she thinks she knows my answer. Okay,
I've done that.
And so you have already played it out in your mind on your way home, driving home.
Thank you.
You done played it out on in your mind, like how the conversation going to go. And the reality of it is, I'm not answering the question the way that you thought I would. I'm not responding the way you thought I would because you know what? I done learned.
I got a question.
So, Rod, before you get to your question, I want to actually address what LaQuandra just said right quick. LaQuandra just said, and Cody and I just learned it, not just learned it, we learned this a while back. Active listening. Thank you. Active listening is a real thing, Natalie, because you may say something and the way that I may have heard it may not be the way that you actually said it. So it is important for your spouse, both male and female, because I'm tired of you all saying men, when women are just as guilty as doing the same stuff. Repeat back to your spouse, what I heard you say is, Toya, whatever. What I heard you.
Ty, let me have you pause there. The reason why we're having this conversation, because don't get slick and cute. I know that you are the owner. By the way, y'all, that's the owner of REC.
That ain't got nothing to do with it.
No commercials on this station.
Y'all have y'all show. Y'all talk about women. Y'all talk about women. So we're here to talk about you. I am heterosexual. I have not been in a relationship with a woman. I'm going to talk about men.
But Toya,
and I'm not saying no. I'm not saying
no. Hear me, Toya. On our show, do you not see Mr. Reasonable's name? Mr. Reasonable's name is there for a reason because he gives the perspective of sometimes, Mr. PC's name is on our show for a reason because they give the perspective of other people at times. It's not just men bashing at women. So I'm just saying, anyway, so as I was saying, active listening.
Okay, East Coast, West Coast.
Active listening. My point is, which is why I said both men and women need to do active listening, which is what LaQuandra was saying. Active listening, basically, what I heard you say is, so that way your spouse knows what you, because the way you may necessarily say something may not necessarily be the way that I interpreted it. So I have to come back to you and say, what I heard you say was this. You say, no, that's not what I said. Or that's not what I meant when I said what I said.
Mm-hmm. And I really didn't think that skill set worked until we tried, and I was like, wow, there is a difference.
By the way, I'm still working on that skill set. I'll be completely honest with you. Like, I've been married. I've been married for 13 years. Okay. And that's something that I am still working on because sometimes you do get in your feelings. And when you get in your feelings, you are not actively listening. And so you hear one version of it, and instead of interacting with the other person about what you heard, you sometimes take it, you internalize it, and you move on from it.
So let me ask this question, y'all. Let me ask this question real quick. So, the 48-hour rule, and Natalie said the same thing. I need time to process it, then I'm going to address it. So do you tell your husband or significant other, like, we're going to come back to this in 2 days to give us the opportunity to think about it and process it? Because like what Ty said, right? He's like, I'm not going to remember 2 days ago, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so now it's going to catch us off guard. Like, wait, what? Like, so now it's one-sided, right? So now you get your point, and it may be an argument or may not, but I think it's fair to just say, you know what? Let's come back to this tomorrow so that we both could process it. Because if it's just one way, it's not going to go right.
You're right, Narada.
My opinion.
Right.
Very true. That's fair.
That goes back to what I was saying. Like, that's why I do it on the front end. And like I said earlier, I allow, if you need some more time to process, cool, we can come back to it. Or if you're ready to talk about it now. I just think that's just the fair opportunity for everybody. You get out how you feel, what you're feeling in that moment, and then you do it in a respectful way. Like, hey, you know what? When such and such happened, that rubbed me the wrong way. I wasn't feeling it.
We have a question.
Yeah. Can I say I love your interaction on the Facebook users and the YouTube. Everybody is doing a great job asking questions and chiming in. I appreciate what they're saying.
Awesome.
But this is something to think about as far as this question, like this, the way Rita poses. Where do we learn how to communicate with our significant others, parents, friends, society? And I think that it starts
TV.
But I think it definitely starts at home. How we were communicated with, or the lack thereof. Because some of us, this was kind of like something that you guys talked about on your show. Some people grew up in homes where the parents allowed the child to speak or express themselves. And when I say express themselves, I do not mean disrespect. So I lived it two different ways. My mother allowed me to express myself. Okay. So she was born in the 50s. My grandparents who were born in the 30s did not allow that because to them, it was a sign of disrespect. So I had both of those things working against me essentially. So my way of learning to communicate, unfortunately, has been trial and error. It has. I may have thought that the way I thought I was communicating effectively, but this person, again, if y'all know me, I'm a passionate speaker. I just am. So somebody may look at my speaking like this, like, oh, Toya is aggressive, like how me and Ty just went back and forth, because that's me and Ty. But at the same token, everybody don't communicate. Everybody, the way we started out with learning how to communicate is different. And I think that's a conversation that people need to ask their significant other. Were you allowed to speak up when you were a child? Like, we need to ask those kind of questions before we
I agree with that.
For sure.
How was your childhood in general? A lot of people don't even ask, how was your childhood? Some people are raised off, some people are raised loved. part in general. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that definitely plays. We had that conversation the other day on the show about where did you learn your relationship styles from? Like I like I said, growing up, I was a Cosby kid, so I saw Felicia Rashad and Bill Cosby, and I was like, yo, I want to be Heathcliff Huxtable when I grow up. That's the way I want to parent. That's the way I want to be a husband and my wife. So, and I had a mother and father at home. They got divorced, but later in life, I even took from them too. My father told me always take from the good and leave the bad. So that was what I interpreted from media as well as at home.
You don't want to be Pill Bill right now, though.
Not at all.
Pill Bill.
Not at
Bill.
all.
But I guess who have you all become now? Those of you that are in relationship, everybody is not married. But what have you all learned now that y'all probably didn't have, that skill set that you did not have? Y'all can share with us where y'all messed up. This is to the men and to the women.
You know what? I would say. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, I want to finish my statement.
My bad.
We talking about communication, and I
know.
Yeah. So anyway, Narada, what did you want to say?
No, I would say, like what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like I learned how to communicate trial and error. You know what I'm saying? And what I know now is it's okay to still learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah.
The notion that for women, or for some women, to hear that you are the prize, to hear that message repeatedly, that once I got into a relationship, I thought, okay, I'm the prize. There's no work for me to do. It's all my way.
Mm-hmm.
That's BS. That's the biggest lie ever. Yes, we both are the prize to each other. And there is 100% work that both people in the relationship has to do in order for it to be successful. It cannot be one way.
That's funny, Cody. I say on the man cave.
But look at social media. So the sad part is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it might be a delay, but Donnell started talking, honey.
No, she can go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, on the man cave, I always tell people, like, guys will tell a woman, oh, he lucky to have you. And I'd be like, he don't know you, you know what I'm saying? So he ain't got to deal with, the stuff that I deal with at home. So for him to make that comment, screw him.
That's a guy being a guy, though.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that was the comment. That was all that I was going to say.
Well, yeah, people say that because that's who they show to everyone else. Again, like we said in the onset of the show, the real work is when you're in a relationship with somebody. Your office boo or your boo that, work at the bank or whomever, those are snippets of who that person is. You have not dealt with the real thing until you are living full-fledged on with that person. It's like...
That's true.
And they get with that person. They be like, "So can I give you back now?"
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize.
Can I tell you something? And I can't speak for all men who didn't grow up without their father. I did not grow up without I did not grow up with my father. Okay, so I will say this is that the outside influences that I had were great, but I was, in fact, like Ty mentioned, I was a Cosby kid. I was a TV dad's raised me, and what we saw on TV for most dads, I would say 98% of them, were that the mom handled things. The dad came in if things got out of hand. And so I'll be completely honest with you. That's the way I approached fatherhood, because that's what I knew. Like, so if you check out Daddy Confessions, you will hear, like, I'm learning on the job every day, because that is what I knew from fatherhood, from marriage, from parenthood. Like, the whole idea of, you know what, I'm good until things get really bad. When you need dad, then you call me. When things get out of hand, when mom feel like she can't handle it, you call me. And that's what I knew going into marriage. Right? That's what I thought would be the way for how you handle kids in a marriage, right? In a relationship. Now, how you handle a relationship is you heap all the love and affection on your spouse that that they can handle. If they want it, you give it. If they don't seem to want it, then you back off of it. And that's what I did. And that's what I have. And so 13 years of that is something that I am still working to undo because I don't think that is working the way that it should in all situations. So,
but it's something that you said, John. Again, when we go into a relationship, we will not know everything, and we won't know everything about that person. And we definitely have to remember we don't know everything about ourselves.
Yeah, because
we are still, as human beings, that I could say this for the people that are on here. We're thinkers, so we want to become better human beings. So you're evolving. So there are some things that you're learning about yourself. Again, I've said this before, something that I might have been cool with 5 years ago or last year. I'm not cool with that right now. That's something that I'm learning about myself. And I have to be able to communicate that. And this isn't even just with relationships with our significant other, but just with people in general. We have to learn to be able to communicate those things. And John, like you said, I'm glad that you're able to understand it. Okay, this isn't working. How do we change this? Like, we can't go into these relationships of this is how I've been doing it, and you have somebody that's trying to encourage you. You might have been doing this for however many years, but that's not healthy.
Right.
Again, that's what I said earlier. It's that maturity level. So a lot of people are not mature enough to be able to look in the mirror or even to accept criticism from their spouse or from someone who truly loves them and wants them to be a better person. Because when you get with your spouse should be somebody who wants the best for you. And so, yeah, sometimes the messages that they may give you may be a tough, hard lesson that you really need to hear. But because it's coming from your spouse, you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that. You just you nagging or you bitching and complaining or whatever case may be. But nah, real talk is, you need to hear something that somebody has not told you, and you need to be mature enough to be able to handle it. And a lot of people are not mature enough to understand that all of us are still growing until we die. And we don't know. I had an interview earlier today, and I told the people flat out, I don't profess to know everything about the profession that I've been in for the past 16, 17 years. That's why my good friend Google is my buddy. Like, I will Google the hell out of something. Now they got chat GPT and Bard, AI stuff that you can go find information on in a heartbeat. So I'm not going to profess that I'm the best me at all times. Cody can call me out on, she can be like, yo, I think you need X, Y, and Z, or I think you should, and I will listen. I may not always respond the way, she may want me to, but I'll at least hear it out to, be like, okay, and reevaluate and check myself and be like, okay, maybe I was X, Y, and Z, or maybe I wasn't. But we got to be mature enough to be able to look in the mirror at times.
We have it, but again, it's not a bad thing. It's not for you to sit and wallow in pity when your significant other or a friend or whomever, like somebody just said, a lot of people aren't as mature as they think they are, and a lot of people are not self-aware. We're throwing out all, like we're in this day and age, everything is all of these titles and all of this and all of that. If you're not familiar with what self-awareness is, thank you, Ty. Go to Google. Google it and find out what self-awareness is. Because again, what some of us are projecting, or what we think we're projecting to other people, we in fact are not. And I think, unfortunately, like I said before, men and women, we miss each other. Like, I don't have a women's champ to come on here and bash men. Y'all know that's not even my style. I have men come on because I want to understand the male perspective. I think we've had too many conversations with women just talking to women about what they're dealing with a man. And men, if y'all talking, really get into the depths of and when I say if y'all talking, I mean like that heart stuff, because I realize it's not easy for you all. And I'll be the first to say, I didn't do a good job in my 20s. I was married before. So my expectation, again, I didn't have a man in the house with me. I just saw a strong woman just doing what she had to do with her children. So I didn't understand the dynamics of why, and I'm gonna go biblical. I see why God wanted us to only have one partner, because then we don't have to worry about comparing the sex with somebody that probably gave you some real good sex, and now you married and your wife don't twerk the way she twerked. I see why God wanted us to have one partner.
How many of y'all on here been married before? God damn. Okay. I mean,
really, John, that's how you feel?
It's my first John.
Sorry. I ain't mean to say it out loud. That's what came in my head.
But all that what Toy just said, like I said before, man, it's okay to learn, and ignorance is not an excuse. So
it's not. But I will say this, because like Toya said and somebody else said earlier, because of the environments in which we're learning, again, ignorant may not be necessarily an excuse, but a lot of us use it because we just go, yo, we don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. Right. And you have to, and to Toya's point, you do have to surround yourself. That's what I said earlier. Surround yourself with certain people who can be real with you. That's, who can be, and I know Toya think that guys don't talk and we don't hold each other accountable. But truth be told, if you have and we've had this conversation on Millionaire Man Cave, if you have real friends and not just yes men or yes girls around you, your guys will be real with you. Your guys will pull you by the side and be like, yo, that ain't cool. Or yo, X, Y, and Z. I'll tell you now, I have no problem with people calling me. People call me, my guy friends call me all the time and be like, yo, let me talk to you for a second and let me get your opinion about, something I'm going through. Or let me do X, Y, and Z. So guys, we do talk and we do, hold each other accountable. I'm not going to just say, oh, nah, she was wrong just because that's my dude. No, but like, nah, you actually was wrong in the situation, bro. And, she might be right. You do need to reevaluate whatever the situation may be.
Yeah. And Ty, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Let me tell you something. We're not going to be on this show acting like we don't know women that are trifling. It's a lot of trifling women out there. That's why men are able to have extramarital affairs. Okay. Because there are, right, I'm saying this because there are some trifling women out there who friends clap it up and she thinks she's the pick because a married man. And let me tell y'all something. We are living in this day and age. You don't know when you have just hit that cherry on the top of their already made sundae of foolishness with life. Y'all better stop playing. Yeah. And I'm serious. It seems cute. Oh, do. Yeah, until somebody go, I'm tired.
Wait, say that again, babe. Say that again.
Yeah. So you. What's my phrase for tonight? You keep keying about the fact that you plan on your significant other.
Nah, the sundae, the cherry on top, that part.
The cherry on top. That's the cherry on the already made sundae.
There you go.
I didn't got a scoop of this from this person of foolishness. I got a scoop of this from that person. So when somebody reacts, everybody's like, oh no, they snap. They're at their limit and you don't know what point that is. That's why people need to stop playing. Yeah. And this is why I said communicate. My thing is, if you want to go out and cheat, tell me. Y'all probably be real surprised how many women would be like, okay, let's know.
Hold up. Wait.
That's true. Do not give me a surprise. Let me know if this, like, we're human beings, right? Let's have a real conversation. You having a moment. We both having a moment.
Right. So we both about to go?
Because I'm going to see how you going to feel if I have a moment too.
I'm definitely channeling Nate Dogg on this one. I'm not sure I quite get that one. Like, is that okay? Is that a thing?
But it's true. I mean, it's true. Communication can make things so much better.
No, it should be a safe space with us, with our significant other. And that's something that we have to grow into. That's why it's important to not have so many outside influences. Again, there could be so many distractions.
Like gay male friends.
Oh my God. He won't let it go. I'm
not gonna let it go. It's a real thing.
Can you take him off? How do you do that?
Wait, before you take me off, do y'all have gay male friends?
Yes.
I don't.
Shame on
you. I do. He's actually my stylist.
No.
Okay. He's not gonna be happy unless he's happy. Your happiness don't mean shit to him, by the way.
It means everything.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Toya is my friend. My happiness.
I don't agree.
I disagree.
I don't agree.
Okay. This has been wonderful.
That's the cue.
And on that note,
John just took it somewhere else. Let me tell you all this. I want to thank everyone that has supported my show for this entire season. Woo-hoo! This is my finale, and I wanted to invite the gentlemen on. Really, I think it's important for us to be able to have, these type of conversations. And you already know, every time I'm on here, I'm going to give the men an opportunity to come on, because again, I feel like we have too many conversations apart from one another. I'm grateful. I want to thank those of you that have been watching the show, sharing this content. I don't take it lightly. We are living in some very critical times, and it's nice to be able to have these types of moments. But my goal is to always inspire, educate, and also entertain people. And I believe that we got a lot of that tonight. I want people to be well. And we can't be well until we accept the fact that we're sick. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot, and I'm switching it here, we have a lot of sickness going on because we won't be honest. And some of us have not, again, given somebody the opportunity to grow with us. Let people grow up. We need to let people grow up, and we need to grow up. So I always like to end my show with there's nothing like, and I'm just going to have y'all go from the top. So to start with Cody at the top, Ty across, John, Kiasha will be the last one, and I'll close it out. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to RETV. Cody, take the floor. There's nothing like.
Toya, thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I had a blast. There is nothing like forgiveness. I know I said that last week, but I am really in that season and seeing that when I forgive, the floodgates of openness, transparency, all the gifts you can think of are coming my way because I chose to forgive. So there's nothing like forgiveness.
Wow. Well, Cody, I was going to say the same thing. Book on the way, by the way, about forgiveness.
Awesome.
Forgiveness. Seriously, I've experienced how forgiveness truly has changed my life and also changes the lives of others. So I think it's an ongoing effect, not only for yourself, but for others. And that's what it's all about. Is our lives are not our own. So, let's forgive, move on, impact ourselves, impact others.
I actually I was thinking that when you first asked, and I was listening to Cody's and listening to Tanya's, I was going to say there's nothing like communication, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say there's nothing like growth. There's nothing like growth, because we are not who we were. You should not be who you were yesterday. You should be growing, continually growing. And so there's nothing like growth. And in growth comes communication, and in growth comes forgiveness. So continue to grow, continue to be better people, continue to be a better person than you were the day before, continue to be better than, the person who you are to somebody who you don't even like, and just grow as a human. There's nothing like growth. Growth is so great.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing like the Narada brand. You could catch it.
Wow. Where's the horn? Where's the horn, Toya? Get that man the horn. Get that man the bell.
Nah, I'm just serious. But there's nothing like good conversations, / communication, because you open up like the minds of everybody else, and you get to tap into other perspectives, and you get to see, like I said, it's okay to learn, because you may be going through something, and there's 10 other men or women or whoever it is going through the same thing, and you get to tap into how they dealt with that particular situation, which in return may help you. So nothing like communication.
First, I want to say thank you, Toya, for having me. I'm honored to even be thought about to be part of your vision. Oh my God, what a blessing. But I'm going to say there's nothing like life, living and loving. And we only have one life. We only have one life to live. And as we know, and we've seen, it goes by so fast. We've all experienced someone being here and gone tomorrow, being here and gone today. I've experienced it more than I like to acknowledge, but you got nothing like life and loving and laughter and just there's nothing like life.
Yeah. Love it.
Natalie took all of it, but I'm gonna say there's nothing like love. And I think that for me, first off, thank you for letting me be a part of the show tonight. I hope I don't know if I dodged the target or what have you, but anyway, the point is I believe that love is an extremely important part of every person's life, both as an individual, as a couple, as a family. And so I think that it is so important that we understand and learn how to love in the best way. And so love yourself first, right? First and foremost, then love your spouse, love your family. It's so important. And so I believe that love is so important. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it a little bit here on the show. So,
well, I guess it's my turn. Thank you, Toya, again for having me on your show. Absolutely enjoyed it. Hope to be on it again soon. But I want to say there's nothing like prayer. You know, as humans, we don't control anything that happens, and sometimes I was just gonna say we're always looking for the answers, just like Ty said earlier. We want everything now, and that doesn't always happen. And I just feel like when you pray about it, let it go and let God guide you, and He'll what I'm saying, He's always on time. So
that was good. Thank you, Toya, for having me. And I wanted to say there's nothing like self-awareness. And just as the gentleman said earlier, self-love, because without that, that's where all of this confusion comes in. Know thyself is very important, because other than that, you teach people how to love somebody you're not when you don't know who you are. I just think that that's very important.
Very much so.
Wow. I want to thank all of you all, and you just hold tight because you all know we have to close out the broadcast, but I want to thank everybody for joining. I can't thank the people enough that are watching. I can't thank Ty enough for, and I hope he's still with us, seeing the vision through for me to be able to come on here. So for me, I will say that there's nothing like another chance. When you have another chance, you all listen to me and listen to me well. Take it.
Yeah.
If you got to go scared, it probably didn't work the first, second, third. Notice how to say a second chance, another chance.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. Business, relationships. Some of you all are afraid to live life. Natalie just said there's nothing like life. I heard there's nothing like love. It comes with it.
Yep.
Everybody on here has a testimony, has a story. All of our hearts have been broken more than once.
Yep.
We do not have it figured out, but we're just some people that are on here. And something that I always say is I'm a real woman serving a real God with real problems. It's all real. So there is nothing like an opportunity to be able to get great people on such as yourselves and to offer your perspective. So I won't be back on until I believe it's September. Ty, I'm right. I want to be on here. September. You also
week after Labor Day.
Week after Labor Day, the Women's Champ Show will be back again. I want to thank you all again for your support. As always, be safe and be great. Have a good night.